The Warriors ended up losing that game to the Pacers last night. That would have been an early season code red. The Pacers, one win on the season. That one win coming against the Warriors in Indiana a few weeks ago, right? Oh yeah, by the way, they have never lost in the Chase Center. Rick Carlisle owns Steve Kerr. No, styles make fights, and this Pacers team has given the Warriors problems for many years. But this is not the same Pacers team. No Siakam last night, no Benedict Mathurin. Just 4 or 5 of their key players out. Still no Steph Curry, but that's not an excuse. This was a must-win game, getting ready to head out on the most vicious road trip of this season. And for about 3 quarters, it looked like it might be that disaster. It looked like it might be the disaster in the code red. I know that the focus is going to be on Kuminga's poor shooting. I thought Draymond was worse last night. I really did. I want to start there because he hit 5 threes in Denver the other night, and everyone is talking about how grueling this schedule is because it is, right? And you look at what they asked Draymond to do, guard Jokic and play the 5 all these minutes and be the head of the defense. I understand why he may not have his legs at times, right? And defensively, he wasn't really, they probably allocated too many defensive resources to Nembhard, like saying, all right, no Siakam, we're going to send 2 at him. But Draymond was trying to roam, and he just didn't have the legs to roam. So he couldn't close out, and he was just kind of caught in no man's land. But then offensively, as we sputtered and we were like 3 of 17 from 3 at some point. And I think that the tired legs are showing even in the young fellas. They really are. But I think in the non-Steph Curry games, Draymond can't be the focal point of the offense. It doesn't work. It's got to be Jimmy, right? It's got to be Jimmy. And he's got to, especially the way Draymond is shooting the 3, he's got to stand off in the corner. He can't be that hub in the non-Steph games. And, midway through that third quarter, I thought they found that they figured that out. And Draymond went to the bench, and you had Jimmy, Al, Mo, Will in pods. And that's when they went on that run. And things started to operate through Jimmy, who, man, he has the quietest 20-point games ever, right? Like don't get me wrong, he has loud plays at times, like especially tough and one finishes, but you never feel like he's scored that much. And then you look at, he's got 20, he's got 25, right? It just comes here and there. It's just like within the flow of the game. But I think they need to make a concentrated effort to run things through Jimmy without Steph. It's that simple. That's why you got him. And I get the predicament of Steph's out, Draymond's the leader. He's still got to be a main piece of this. It's got to be defensively. It's got to be as a corner 3-point shooter. But what I did like was how they featured Quentin Post early and often. He had like 3 or 4 of the first shots in the game. And as impressive as he's been good defensively, like he's shown me in these first 10 games, like he's going to be all right defensively. Even when guys score, you can live with the effort in the shot contest. And he's getting all these soft blocks at the rim where it's like they're not loud and they're like fingertip blocks, but he's contesting. He's altering shots. But the reality is his true value is as a real stretch 5. And to me, not only has he shown that he should be playing 20, 25 minutes a night because he can hold up defensively, he needs 8 or 10 shots. He needs 8 or 10 shots, and I thought they made a conscious effort early on to get him those, and he rewarded them with 14 points when he hit a couple threes. Like, he's playing really well. And then Al Horford finally joins the party. Now, I was never worried about the shooting. I was like, okay, he's slumping. He'll figure that out. When they announced him out in Denver with the foot, that's when I was like, okay, whoa, is that what's going on behind the scenes? Is he nursing some sort of foot injury that they can't figure out? And that's why they're babying his minutes so much. But he comes out last night and again was really a big part of that run at the end of the third quarter. The Mo 4-point play in the corner is what flipped it, gave us the 10-point lead into the fourth quarter and gave us the momentum. But Al he hit 4 threes. He's protecting the rim, right? And so that 2-headed monster of Quentin Post and Al Horford, that's a huge positive, especially if Al's going to prove to be healthy and Quentin is just Been much better defensively than I think any of us could have imagined. But they've got to make the conscious effort to get him shots. He's one of the better shooters on the team. Let's go to Kuminga. Was he 1 of 9, 0 of 5 from 3? I can't really say I see a mechanical issue right now. He's not getting the same arc on the 3. I think that he's a little impatient and a little thirsty to have a big scoring night without Steph, right? Because that's kind of the optics in the narrative. No Steph, all right, Kuminga. You know what I'm saying? Now it's your turn to have a 30-piece. So I think he's pressing a little bit. What I would like to see them do more is to help him. They did it a couple times. Empty out a side. He gets a switch on a smaller wing or guard. Empty out the side. I know that that's not Warriors basketball, but I think it's just going to allow him to make the reads much easier, right? Where there's not all these cutters and he doesn't have to read both sides of the floor, right? It's like having a young quarterback. You cut the field in half. They roll out to their strong side and they're only reading half the field. I think that simplifying things that way can help him get back in a groove. He did have 8 rebounds. And then how about our lottery pick, Will Richard? Man, he's looking like a lottery pick. What do he have? 14, 3, and 2 in 19 minutes. And the cutting, right? The cutting sticks out, the timing of when he cuts off the ball. And he's like a wide receiver. Did you see the spin move route he made off of like rejecting a screen? And it's the angles of it. It's not just the timing. It's the angles where he's able to pin the defender behind him because of the angle he takes. But the timing in his game, it shows up everywhere. It's not just on the basket cuts. It's his hands defensively. It's slipping in for a box out on an offensive rebound. The timing is immaculate and it's showing up everywhere. He's confident. He flashed his little Florida Gator mid-ranger there at the end. And so Pods, Kuminga struggling, right? Jimmy powering through. He doesn't look all the way healthy. Draymond, like the fatigued legs. But there are some positives to circle around this performance with the two-headed center and Will Richard's emergence, right? But I will warn you of this because even Moses, who got going there late, like his shots were short. And the talk of this ridiculous schedule on this road trip, they're not going to, I don't expect to have too many hot 3-point shooting nights. Now, the other positive was Steph was in the building, smiling and looking like he's on the mend. I would expect him to, you'd hope he'd play in this first road game, right? He's going to be there for the road trip, hopefully a little bit charged up because yes, he was depleted from being sick, but he also got to rest his body for a week. And so maybe Steph can get hot from 3. He doesn't count. But what I'm getting at is the other wings, Moses, Kuminga, Pods, the wrist is taped up. The 3 ball looks really ugly right now. Like they're probably going to continue to struggle in this stretch of games here in November because their legs, they didn't seem to have their legs under their shots. But QP and Al, I think, are a little different. When you're talking about a center who shoots threes, a big man who shoots threes, they're far less leg dependent. And so you hope that Steph's charged up shooting the 3, and if the two-headed monster at the 5 spot can continue to shoot the 3, that can carry us. While these other guys, I think, again, their legs, I don't know, they're going to have to power through, get to the line like we did last night, just make the free throws. But that's the NBA. When you box score watch and you go, oh, they won by 20, they won by 25 points. If you watch the game, most of the time it was far closer than that, and then at the end, it gets away from a team. And so we end up making it look like it should and getting a little bit of revenge against this Pacers team before this road trip. But I said it last video and I'll say it again. I think being at 500 at the end of November is the goal. As modest as that sounds, I think that's the realistic one. Y'all know what to do. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.